What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the most important NYCFC talk show. It is time for the Dudes in Blue. It's episode number 141. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I'm your host, Joe Amato, and alongside me, as always,
Antonino. What is up, dude?
What is happening, man? Like, I'm out of the dark ages. My internet is back. And
I like to see you lifted your rock.
It's unbelievable. I feel like crap one Monday. The next Monday, we have wind that was like something. I felt like I was in the center of a hurricane all day. Internet goes out. I had power all day, but my internet goes out. Go figure that crap out. Doesn't come back. Almost 24 hours I have no internet, so I missed a show on Monday night when there was so much I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about the game against Nashville. I wanted to talk about Kepa being a douchebag. I wanted to talk. There was so much I had to get off my chest. But now we're here, Wednesday night. Weird time, and we're making this happen. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
If you're here watching the Facebook Live episode, let us know that you're here. Let us know where you're watching from, and if you're on the pod, drop us a comment on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. We are at Dudes in Blue. That's always the best way to get a hold of us. So normally we do our 4 or 5 segments. But tonight, because it's a Wednesday night and we really don't have too much time, we're going to kind of dive into pretty much exclusively NYCFC and including some of your Instagram questions. So without any further ado, let's get into it. Oh, before we do, just make sure to smash that share button, guys. Let the NYCFC faithful in your friends list know that you are listening and or watching the Dudes in Blue. Okay, let's get this out of the way. MLS is back on Saturday, dude.
It's about damn time.
I don't know about you, but I'm literally more excited about just MLS in general than I am about the NYCFC opener. I am so pumped that we get to see Zlatan again, and that we get to see Wayne Rooney again, and that we get to see Joseph Martinez again. Like, this is going to be amazing. I cannot wait.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a good I got a feeling this season is going to be full of just record-breaking numbers all over the place between the amount of goals being scored and attendance at matches and things like that. It's going to be a season for the ages. So I'm looking forward to it. Definitely with the last year I didn't have it, but this year we got ESPN Plus. So being able to actually track all these games and watch and just be fully immersed, 24/7 for the next 6 or 7 months is going to be pretty exciting.
So between the games that are on TV and ESPN Plus, I am literally not leaving my couch Saturday or Sunday.
I'll see you at Christmas.
That's it. No, that's Thanksgiving, it. Dude. Thanksgiving.
Oh, right. It's shorter this year,
because it's a shorter MLS season.
Yeah.
So I'll see you at Thanksgiving, not Christmas.
How about that? Well, that's good. We can come out of hibernation.
That's right. So, look, NYCFC takes on Orlando. What's your expectation from this match, knowing what we saw against Nashville on Friday night? Let us know, and let us know in the comments what you guys think as well. Let us know what you think about the match coming up, dude. Are you excited? Are you nervous? Are you confident? Are you gonna hide in a corner? Like, what are you gonna do?
Well, I don't know. Me hiding doesn't really work too well because are pretty easy to spot most places. I think it's a mixed bag. I think it's a season where really anything can happen. The expectations for me are pretty much at ground zero right now. There's just I don't know which way to go. I could totally see this team finishing in last place. I could totally see this team finishing in first place. Nothing would surprise me. So at this point, I'm just kind of ready to. I'm anticipating. I'm in an anticipatory state where I'm kind of just waiting to see what happens and trying to learn the new players. Even some of the guys that came in halfway through last year still really don't know a crazy amount about them and their playing styles because they had it was an abbreviated season for them. So now with a full preseason under the belt and the excuses are gone of the half a season with a new coach and things like that. I am excited. Not as much as previous years because I'm just not sure if this offseason was a buildup of progression or was it a step back.
But I think
So,
that's also a combination. So first of all, would you say that you put the ant in anticipation?
oh, of course.
So anyway, I think a lot of that comes from the way that last season ended, and more so like you went from flying super high and being an MLS Cup contender to being middle playoff table at best. And if it wasn't for our first half season run, we would have been way closer to the red line. So you have the way that the season ended, and then you've got the postseason and the preseason where you got one major signing. We have no out-and-out striker, which is still a concern for me. There's no depth at center forward, and I understand where that reluctance comes from because I feel that too. I 100% feel that too. Before we move on, dude, I got to get to a comment here. Lalo on Facebook is saying, "Oh, Joe, I can't with that shirt right now, especially after that thrashing. I'm boycotting this episode." And for those that are listening on the podcast, I am wearing a Barcelona kit after they beat Real Madrid 3-0 today. I'm sorry, Lalo. I guess you're a Madridista. I mean, I lean more towards Barcelona, but I'm like more of like a Barcelona neutral in a match like that. But I just like the jersey. I didn't even realize what happened today, that they destroyed them and tore them apart. Anyway, so back to what we were talking about, dude. The reluctance is understood because we know the way things ended last year. We know the way that things started off this year. We have no idea what to expect. I mean, when you're a team like Atlanta, you have a level of expectation that is high. When you're a team like LA Galaxy and LAFC, you have a high level of expectation because of the caliber of player that you have. Like you have Zlatan, Carlos Vela. You got these guys coming back, and you know what to expect. With us, I don't have an expectation, and that probably bothers me the most.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. That's very fair. It's hard going into. You're going in pretty much blindfolded at this point because you don't know either way, and it's that unknown that kind of sits uneasy with most people. You have people that are super optimistic. You have people that are super pessimistic. It seems those people are always the same, leaning one way or the other. But I would say like maybe three weeks from now, or maybe 4 weeks from now, I would say we'd all have a better outlook of which way to lean. But for now, yeah, it's a little bit of an uneasiness, but still excited, to get things started. For me, listen, last year we won a ton of games at home. We saw a lot of wins. I mean, as far as a season ticket holder goes, or someone who goes to a majority of matches, you were really treated well last year in the home record. That was a plus. I would almost rather them do something different this season. I would much rather them struggle early on or kind of be like hot and cold throughout the season and then finish strong, because I think that bodes the best for a playoff run. I think, again, skidding into the finish line like the last two seasons, confidence-wise, is awful going forward. And I think your form at that point is awful going forward. So I wouldn't mind. You want to see them win as many games as possible, but at the same time, timing, I think, is going to be key this season.
Well, it always seems to come down to that, right? It always seems to come down to August and September. Our form there will dictate the rest of the season. Will dictate the playoffs. But that's that's NYCFC. I mean, like the good news is that we're kind of expecting that. So anything flat or better will be tremendous because right?
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think I'm a little concerned going to Orlando because Orlando's doing things right, making some big signings this year, and they're a team that I feel is going to be hungrier than we are, especially the way their first few seasons.
No one's hungrier than this guy. No, I agree. I think
And that's never an easy place to go and play.
yeah. No, that's definitely hostile territory. One of the more difficult places to play. Listen, with the growth of the sport, a lot of these away games are hard games to play because the more and more fans are showing up at certain games and it's good because you've got different teams winning every season. It's you start fresh the first week and everyone's got an equal chance. But as you see, I mean, it's not always the same. It's not always the same teams going in. You have teams that'll finish the bottom one year and finish towards the top the next year, which is awesome because you don't get you kind of stay away from this these dynasties that tend to eat up certain playoff runs and make it not boring, but it's like listen, football and basketball prime examples. You kind of can pick almost the teams that are going to participate every
Yeah.
season. You're going to see Golden State in basketball, and you're going to see the Patriots in football. And again, it's nice, maybe once or twice in a row or three times in a row. After that, even sometimes their own fans are like, you know what? I've seen this team win so much, I don't have to go travel to an away game, or it's stuff like that. So I think though it's going to be a really really fun season. And as far as we go, yeah, Orlando definitely a hostile environment, but sometimes teams thrive on that. Sometimes they feed off of the crowd's energy, whether it's good or bad, positive or negative. So just looking forward to getting back and seeing what's going on, and kind of looking forward to a real game where you can make some judgment of what's going to happen moving forward.
Right. If you guys are just joining in on the live broadcast, or if you skipped ahead in the podcast for some reason, we're doing an abbreviated show tonight, talking NYCFC season preview and opener preview, really, and we'll get to some of the Instagram rapid fire questions later on, dude. But let's get to let me just get to a couple comments here on Facebook before we kind of move on. Christian Smith says, honestly, being an enigma could play greatly in our favor. Nobody knows how we're going to play, line up, etc. That could hurt, but it can also be an element of surprise. To the coach?
Yeah, you know what? It's much harder to gauge your opponent when you don't know what they're going to throw at you. You'll have groups of teams where it's a great advantage to have the same players and the same style year after year. But it also, for us, it was a detriment with certain teams. Red Bull, for example, they had our number in many, many matches because we played the same style. They knew what was coming. Now we don't know what's coming. Nobody else knows what's coming, and you're right. I don't think the coach knows what's coming at this point. So it could play well, or it could be a huge disappointment. I think as long as all the players buy into whatever Dome's system is, and they all continue to work hard, I think we'll be okay. But as far as other teams, on the outside looking in, listen, this organization doesn't give anybody anything when it comes to information, so they're pretty much on the outside looking in too. So I mean, maybe it could be helpful.
Yeah, it could. And really, Christian, I think, was talking more about how other teams view us coming in when they're looking at game footage and things like that, when they're getting ready to face us. But it's going to be a surprise for everybody, Christian. I think nobody's going to know what to expect from NYCFC this season. And if you looked at all of the predictions from MLSsoccer.com and all the bookies out there that are putting the odds out there, I mean, a lot of people are betting against NYCFC and claiming that they're going to finish 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, kind of middle to bottom half of the table. And honestly, at this point, nothing's going to surprise me. If they come out of the gate scoring crazy goals, I won't be surprised. And if they don't, I am also not going to be surprised. I'm just going to take it at face value and always remember what happened last season and what this coach and Doma Torrent can put together, because I'm still not confident. So I will be indifferent until I see what happens.
NYCFC is actually 9-1 to win the cup. Those are their odds. So just checking that out for you guys.
Fun. Very fun.
Yeah.
Dude, let's kind of talk. Let's move on to the lineup and kind of predict the lineup and things that we're going to see
Sure.
out of that, because I think that's obviously probably the biggest question going into Saturday's match against Orlando. Before we do, dude, let me get to just a couple more quick things here on Facebook. Jamal is saying that I see Shradi getting a lot of goals, Mitrita an average amount of goals, but will never have the same amount of goals as last season. I think Shradi's gonna hit double digits if he gets the minutes. You hope Mitrita is gonna score double digits. For the price tag that this guy comes with, you need to put up goals. And that's where we struggled last year. And that's where, towards the second half of the season, we could not find the back of the net. And we needed a killer that can do that. And we didn't really have it, even though we had David Villa on the field. What you don't want to see, and what I don't really want to see, is I don't want to see Mitrita turn into David Villa, where everybody's looking for him, everybody's trying to give him the ball, and nobody's willing to take the chance, nobody's willing to take the shot. I want to see the goals spread out, but I want to see that list really lopsided towards Mitrita this year.
Yeah, I'm also okay with it. I mean, double digits is nice for everybody, to be fair. But I think Mitrita, I think he's also going to be a threat in the assist column. I think he could do some damage there as well, because he could just create so much room for not only himself but for other players that are around. As long as everyone is on the same page as far as the three attacking options, which we assume we're going to have, three guys up top are going to be cohesive and kind of know each other's moves. They can all do a lot of damage this season.
Yeah, if they take their chances.
Yeah.
How many times did we see chances created, and nothing's going in the back of the net? We need that final ball, that final killer instinct, that final nail in the coffin that finally seals the deal.
Yeah, no more of those 25-shot games with no shots on goal.
It's insane, man. Absolutely insane. Dude, let's go through kind of our lineup prediction here, and I think you and I are probably going to be on the same page here. And guys, we didn't talk about this beforehand, so we're just kind of doing it now for the first time with you. So let us know what you think the lineup will be in the comments. So, dude, I think let's start from the back, because that's probably how we're going to play most of the season. Sean Johnson, there's no question there. Nobody's arguing with that. Stoyer is not taking his job anytime soon unless he gets hurt for some strange reason. So I don't really think we need to. I'm not really. There's nothing more that I'm expecting from Sean Johnson than what he did last season. Phenomenal keeper. He is our number one. He ain't going anywhere.
Right.
The defense, dude. I'm going to give you my 4, and then you give me your 4, and let me know.
Sure.
So left to right, guys. We're going left to right. I am seeing Ben Sweat, Alex Callens, Maxime Chanot, Anton Tinnerholm. Dude.
Yeah, it's
no
easy.
Surprise.
It's easy. Yeah, that's the one thing that's kind of remained unchanged from last season. You will see Moderita there, but I think just given his the injury proneness over the last couple of seasons,
there you go.
I think it would behoove us to use him a little more sparingly. Again, great sub off the bench, great legs. But if you can't stay on the field, you're not going to help the team. So maybe a reduced number of minutes from him elongates the number of games actually played for him. So I'm cool with that. I think Ben Sweat is going to be improved again this season. I also want to see him more part of the attack. I think when he gets up the field and whips in those crosses, you allow that extra guy in the box of whoever he overlapped, and I think just the amount of targets.
But here's the problem. Here's the problem. Who's your target?
Yeah. Half of them are. 2 of them put together. We would need.
You know what I mean? Maxi would need to get on Mitrita's shoulders, and we would have a Joinga Burgett. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I agree with you. We created a lot of dangerous opportunities from there, but I think you're going to see a lot more of them come from the ground than you are going to see from the air. If these guys are better with their feet, like Mitrita is, I think you're going to see a lot of that. But yeah, I agree with you, dude. I think we need to see Ben Sweat get forward. We need to see, and we really do need to see Tinnerholm get forward as well. I mean, anytime those guys get forward, we create opportunities. But the downside is that there's nobody for that cross, and that's the issue for me. So it's all well and good to get your fullbacks up, but if there's nobody to accept that beautiful pass that Ben Sweat can sometimes pull off with that left foot, it's really kind of for naught. I think the center back pairing is without a question going to be what we're going to see all season. Barring any kind of injury, you're going to see Collins and you're going to see Chanot, and to me that's a good pairing. They've proven to be a good pairing. That's what you want to see.
Yeah, and Ibiaga will be the sub for either one of them. I don't see both of them really ever coming off in a game together. Maybe one, barring injury. And you've got a pretty good, solid, third center back there as far as Ibiaga goes. And I think Sands can fill in that role pretty well as well if needed. So I think your back four and keeper are pretty good.
I'm not worried about our defense.
Yeah,
I'm not.
Scary to say that, right?
It's crazy, but we've been programmed as NYCFC fans to be worried about leaky defense, right? But not anymore. Now we're worried about not being able to score goals. So let's move forward, dude. In the midfield. Here I'm going to give you my three because again I'm assuming that we're going to play a 4-3-3, and my three midfielders are going to be Alex Ring, your captain, always until he gets yellow card accumulation, and Maxi Morales. And here's the curveball, dude. I'm going to say Ebenezer Ofori instead of Keaton Parks.
Okay, all right. Ring obviously easy one. Maxi another easy one, in more of an attacking midfielder role. And the middle guy, I think Dome is going to lead towards Ofori just because he's got a little more experience with the team. But I think eventually you'll see Keaton Park sneak his way in and get some minutes because I
thought Ofori had a good game against Nashville, by the way.
Yeah, he doesn't look 100% comfortable, and he did miss 2 golden opportunities.
I didn't say from a scoring standpoint.
Yeah. Well, listen, I mean, last year his first game in, when he came in for Herrera, he buried a goal.
Yeah,
he looked pretty good. I just think he's another one of those guys that, again, he had a little more movement in Friday night's game. But if he's going to be his standard, receive the ball and then give it away, I don't like that. I need to see people who can move. And for some reason, when I watch him move, it's just not fluid enough for me.
I think a lot of that last season, dude, and I could be totally wrong here. I could be totally off base. But I think a lot of that came from the uncertainty. Will Yangel Herrera come back? Is this my job? Am I staying here? Am I going back to Germany? Like, where am I going? And I think now, solidifying his role with the team and being the player that stayed rather than being the guy that's coming in to fill a hole, I think that's going to give him a little bit of an extra vote of confidence that we're going to see. That's my take on it. But again, we could very well see Keaton Parks. I don't think so. I think the lineup that we saw on Friday night against Nashville will be very similar, maybe with a couple of tweaks that we'll talk about, I'm sure, in a minute. It's very similar to what we're going to see on Saturday. So midfield, I mean, I guess I'm okay with it. I mean, there's really my problem with our midfield. My problem with the midfield.
Medina in there. You could even see if there's enough confidence where Ring can hold it down with the back line. You could see 2 center attacking mids in Maxi and Medina, and then you allow a wing spot to be open for another attacker. You'll probably see that later on in games as substitutions are made, depending on the score.
Yeah, of course.
But I could totally see it happening in certain games where you're playing a team that doesn't score a lot, or a team that's in poor form. It's interesting that there's a lot of combinations. There's a lot of different pieces that fit that midfield puzzle. It's just a matter of trying to figure out which one fits it best.
So here's the $1 million question. And we talked about our goalkeeper, we talked about our defense, we talked about our midfield, which is pretty much, I don't think is going to be shaken too much, except for like we just talked about, swapping in some players in and out where you have the opportunities to do that. The big question mark is going to be with the top three. So I'm gonna put it to you, dude. Who do you got as your top three going against Orlando on Saturday?
For me, I think you've got to have Ismail Tajiri-Shradi has to be one of them. I think, given what he did last year, he has to. He
deserves it.
He's too good. Yeah, he deserves it. Matrica obviously have to be on the field. But you just paid for him, big bucks. He's got to be out there every game. The last spot is the interesting one because you've got a lot of players that can rotate in there. You also have the fact that Maxi can rotate in and be that striker or a winger, and you can get some guys moving in. There's four components to this lineup that I think are going to be a lot more free form than we're used to. And once they get to the final third, these guys are going to have the ability to just do whatever they want. And I think Maxi's one of those guys. Tajiri is one of those guys. Matrica is one of those guys. And then your other guys are going to be Jonathan Lewis, Tati Castellanos, and Jesus Medina. For me, I would like to see Lewis in that spot. I think he's earned it. I think he's played well enough. I know he flubbed his shot Friday, but let's be realistic. More often than not, he's going to bury that, no problem. I have to, when Medina gets minutes, I have to see more from him. Otherwise, he really is useless. I'm sorry. He tracks back on defense occasionally. That's fine. But otherwise, he just doesn't look like, he doesn't look interested. He doesn't look, and I get it. He had good numbers last year, but those numbers felt like they were so spread out. And the fact that he looked like he slept through a majority of the games.
Kyrie Shelton.
Absolutely. But even Kyrie would challenge players. He would fall over his own feet and stuff like that. I would like to see Medina do something like that because it shows that he has motivation to move forward. Yeah. I think he's just too complacent getting the ball, and then maybe it's a confidence thing. I don't know, but just be hungrier.
So who is your top three?
My top three, I'm going to go with Izzy, Matrica, and Lewis. That's what I want.
But is that what you think we're going to see?
It's either going to be Izzy, Matrica, and Lewis, or Izzy, Matrica, and Medina.
What do you think it's going to be?
More than likely Medina on the right, but the other two
really? Okay, so I'm going a little different. I think we're going to see Shradi. I liked what we saw from Shradi in the minute that he played against Nashville. Mm-hmm. I think we're going to see him on the right. I think we're going to see Matrica up top, and we're going to see Tati Castellanos. As much as I would like to see Jonathan Lewis, and I think we all can agree that we would all like to see Jonathan Lewis play that left wing role, I think you're going to see Castellanos there because he will be the one that will be more comfortable, I think, switching on and off between Shradi and him and switching, being able to switch sides, where Lewis, I don't necessarily see him as more of a threat from the right-hand side, but I could be totally wrong. I think that's the front three. I think you're going to see Castellanos, Matrica, and Shradi, and then you're going to see all kinds of shape-shifting going on throughout the match because that's kind of what they were doing in preseason and a little bit towards the end of last year too, dude. There was a lot of fluctuating, a lot of moving around. You'd see, like you said, Maxi come up and play that striker position. You're going to see – I personally didn't like how deep Matrica was playing on Friday night against Nashville, so it'll be interesting to see what happens with him. But I don't know, man. I don't know. But that's our starting 11 predictions, guys. Let us know if you agree or disagree in the comments or whatever, because your guess is as good as ours.
It's a fun. I guess it's fun to think about and trying to figure out who's going where. But okay, even Lewis gets his minutes coming in off the bench. I'm okay with that as long as he gets the minutes. I think it's fine. You know your role, and when you get it and you embrace it, you can do wonderful things. You're right. Tati does like to roam around a lot, and he did it last season.
That worked out so well.
Well, you know what? The thing is that if you're going to do that, the guys that are playing together and doing that, you have to be super, super, super aware of your other teammates
Oh, I was
doing.
going to say talented. You need to be
That's true. You
talented.
have to be talented, but you have to know where everyone's going to be, where they are, and where they're going to be. 3 steps from now,
Sure.
and you need to be able to fill in the holes that they create in order to try to keep the attack even and moving forward. As far as a defensive standpoint, when you have guys constantly switching, it's kind of hard because rather than getting the same looks every time they come down the field, like let's say Jonathan Lewis is playing on the left hand side of the field. If he's constantly on the left hand side of the field, and the same two, the two defenders that are on that side constantly see him doing stuff, it's going to be easier as the game goes on to cover him. But if he's doing one thing and then you got Matriza in front of you, it's doing one thing. It's kind of hard to keep track of everyone, and it causes a little bit of chaos. But it only works if your teammates know where you're going to be and where you are. So it's interesting. I don't mind it as long as everyone's on the same page. It's very interesting and it can cause a lot of havoc.
Yep. Well, let's hope it does. Let's hope it does. Let's hope Dome knows what the hell he's doing. It's going to be interesting. There's no sense in making score predictions because we're terrible at that apparently. And listen, dude. Let's get ready to wrap this thing up. But let's do some rapid fire questions. All right.
Let's do it.
The rules are you gotta just answer quick, and we gotta move on. That's it.
Like first thing that comes to mind. All right.
That's pretty much it. So let me pop open these questions here, and we'll get this thing rolling. And again, these are coming from our Instagram story as well as I think Twitter as well. So we're gonna do that. If you guys follow us on Instagram, you'll be able to take part in that. So like just ask us the questions, and if it'll be featured in the show, you'll hear it in this segment. So, dude, you ready?
Yes.
All right. Again, this might be a little redundant because some of these questions we kind of already answered during the show, but ready?
Yep.
Trapani NYC on Instagram. Figuring Matriza and Izzy starting up top. Who is your other winger? Lewis, Tati, Medina. I say Tati. You say
Medina.
When I say Tati, you say Medina.
Tati, Medina.
All right. Question number 2. T Melly04 on Instagram asks, how long until #Dome out? I say 2 years.
I'm talking just like how long before we start using the hashtag?
I'm taking it to mean how long until he's gone.
Oh, I'm gonna go out and say how long before we start using the hashtag? I say 4 games. I say if we lose 2 out of the first 3, fourth game, that hashtag will be everywhere.
I don't know, man. I might be the one that's posting it sooner. I don't know. Let's keep moving here, dude. Henry Hop 123 on Instagram. Biggest surprise player of the season? I'm gonna say Ofori.
Joe Scally.
Anton Tinnerholm's understudy is the way that they're kind of positioning this.
And you know what? If Doma said he's going to be part of the first team, kid's 16, 17 years old? Unreal. The dude looks like a man out there, and he just doesn't miss a beat. Not super surprising, but again, with the sale of Sad Abdul Salam, dude, Joe Scally, you're the guy. You're there. If Tinnerholm goes down, or if he yellow card and he has to come off, and you're it. Surprised but not surprised. But that's my pick for that one.
Okay. NYCFC fan 7 on Instagram asks, will Collins stay at NYCFC, or do you think he will eventually be transferred to Alianza Lima? I think he stays.
I think he stays. Otherwise, he wouldn't have signed.
I think that whole article that came out, dude, saying that he wanted to leave, I think that got poo-pooed so damn fast that I don't think we have an issue there. I really don't.
No. I do think you'll see him play for Peru this year, though.
That's okay, as long as it doesn't interfere with NYCFC schedule. Eric7 Martin on Instagram. Do you think NYCFC will make any more signings before the season starts? No. It's over.
Nope.
Because the season starts in 3 days. And Ola Kamaro's going to China. So,
moving right along. China.
JRamo14 on Instagram says, what was your biggest takeaway from the game against Nashville? My biggest takeaway was, crap, this should be rapid fire, and it's not, and I'm sorry. Dude, please go first because I got nothing.
Matrica can shoot.
I was kind of leaning towards that. Whatever, it's fine.
Can shoot. And I mean, that shot looked effortless.
It did. I will 100% give credit for that. But can we just remember that he tried to pass it and failed, and the only reason why that ball fell to his feet was because the pass that was intercepted or misplaced landed right back on his foot. So, great, dude, a cannon of a shot. Absolutely beautiful goal. Javinko-esque. I will take that any day of the week, but we have to look a couple seconds beforehand and see the pass that he was trying to make.
I agree.
But 100%, the dude can shoot. The guy's got a cannon of a foot.
If he's got the opening, I mean, he's going to score some McNamara-esque goals.
Yeah, 100%.
With a little bit more flame behind him.
With a little bit more sauce.
Yeah.
All right, final question, dude. This one comes from Twitter. Michael Allen. Can NYCFC succeed without a true striker, and will we sign one soon or mid-season? My answer is no, we cannot succeed without an out-and-out striker, at least without having some depth at that position. And will they sign one in the summer? Probably.
Yeah, I would think with all this allocation money and things like that, something is brewing. Something is brewing, and it won't happen until the summer window. I agree there. Succeed, not long term. I don't think so. I think because we don't have that depth player in the middle, and Matrica's as middle as you're going to get, and you can see he kind of favored the left-hand side of the field. I think short term you can kind of keep it afloat. Can you keep it afloat to the summer and have some positive results? I think so, but I think you're going to need one or two guys to come in and really just be strictly middle of the field goal scorers.
You have nobody there.
You need bigger body. You need a bigger body too. I love the little guys, and it's always not the size of the dog in the fight, but I know it's really hard for Chihuahuas to get field position.
What happens if Matrica gets hurt?
Yeah.
What happens?
We collect the insurance.
When Villa was hurt, you at least had Berget. Look at what happened to us when you could not play Villa and you could not play Berget.
It's interesting because
you've nobody. Wait, Maxi's your striker? Give me a break.
I wouldn't say you have no. It's nobody wants to. Nobody seemed to want to take that role and make it their own.
Maybe because nobody they can't.
Wanted to be, I listen. I think someone could have done it. Someone could have stood in the middle of the field and played that position. It's not terribly different from wing. Your objective is still to score and create space. And if you can practice it, you can do it. You're a professional athlete. It's doable. And someone could have done it. Tati could have done it. But Medina could have done it. But again, if you don't have the stones, if you don't have the mindset to do it, nobody can do it. You can put the biggest guy in the world out there, and if he doesn't have the head for it, it's not going to be any help. I think you need to bring in a body, a big body that's going to be able to hold up play, number one. Number two, be hard to get off the ball. And number three, have some sort of aerial presence in the box. Your best heading, your only two options on corners can't be just your defenders. You kind of have to have somebody on offense that's got that ability, that height. If you see a guy like a Ben Sweat stature, maybe a little bit bulkier, not bulkier, but somebody with a little bit more, just a little bit more physicality, I think.
Virgil van Dijk.
That would be ridiculous, but I don't think he's going to be a center.
That mofo scored 2 goals today.
He's a beast. Beast of a human being. But again, it's all about being physical in a way where you can create from it and shield the ball. The typical stuff that
you're gonna see a lot of short corners this year, dude. And I don't mean stature. I just mean short corners trying to dribble it into the box.
That's pretty much what it is. It's just really hard for me to get. You've got a counterattack going, and all of a sudden the cross goes in, and Maxi will never get to it because the defender's 3 feet taller than he is.
Yeah, it's just.
Or Matrica for that matter. I know he's 3 inches taller than Javinko, but still, I just think the aerial battles in the boxes are. It's hard to win offensive aerial battles when your best players are playing defense.
That's right.
And they're not near the box. You know what I mean?
That's right.
So,
100%.
if you're gonna bring somebody in, it's gotta be a big dude.
Yep. 100%. Well, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this little Wednesday night / Thursday end of the week little season preview that we did. Thank you guys for the rapid fire questions. I love doing those. Actually, those are like really.
Those are a lot of fun.
Those are fun. We're gonna do more.
I just wish they would get more obscure.
I know. It's
like they don't have to be NYCFC related. You want to
reply to our rapid fire questions on Instagram. They can be anything. Doesn't have to be NYCFC related or soccer related even.
Favorite ice cream. Favorite.
I did one like a couple of weeks ago, and Jenny Lando asked what our favorite '80s song was. So like that's the kind of crap that we want to know too. Like,
what is your favorite '80s song?
Oh, it was One from Metallica.
All right. I'm gonna go with. Your Love from the Outfield.
All right. Fair enough. Guys, we'll be back here Monday night for the Facebook Live show. If you guys like to watch the show on Tuesday on the pod,
hopefully,
as long.
Barring no snowstorms or windstorms.
As long as I'm not sick, have the internet, I will be here Monday night. I could not catch a break the last 2 weeks. It's unreal. Absolutely unreal. But we appreciate you guys joining us for this one on Wednesday night. Oh, guys, we are now on Spotify. So if you guys like listening to the pod, Spotify is another place that you guys can go check it out. We're working on getting on iHeartRadio as well, but you can definitely find us on Spotify. Just search Dudes in Blue in there and subscribe if you'd like to listen to us on there. Leave us a review on Facebook and or iTunes, depending on where you watch us or listen to us. Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dudes in Blue. Always really easy to get a hold of us. We will be here until we'll be here on Monday night. Until next time, guys. Stay blue.